Hey everyone, this is Dan. Let's do a deep dive into BioNTech. First of all, I'd like to mention that I own BioNTech stock. My own target for BioNTech is between 110 to 130 by the end of March 2021. Of course, the stock price will be subject to technical fluctuations on a day-to-day, minute-to-minute basis. I'd like to mention that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm sharing my analysis and my trade strategy for education purpose only. You should make your own decisions regarding buying or selling stocks and should check with your financial advisors before you do so. In the next few minutes, I will cover the following topics. I will look at COVID-19 and the vaccine timeline and the BioNTech stock price in relation to these important events. I will go into technical analysis. At one point, I will compare the stock price of BioNTech with the stock prices of Regeneron and Amgen. Then I'll go into fundamental analysis, which will include the professional analysts' ratings, my own evaluation of the company's development pipeline, any catalysts that might cause the price to go up, and finally a quick look of the patents and lawsuits involving BioNTech. This is a quick list of the timeline items. I will not waste your time by reading the list. If you are interested, you can do a screenshot of this page and look at the details later. Let's go straight into the price chart to see how these milestones affected the stock price. On December 31st, 2019, the city of Wuhan, China, confirmed that health authorities were treating dozens of cases related to this new coronavirus. And then on January 11th, 2020, China shared the genetic sequence of the new virus. On March 16, the collaboration of Pfizer started, and on that news, as you can see, the stock price jumped up and then it settled down a little bit later. And then on May 4th, phase 1, phase 2 trials started in the US. On July 27th, phase 2 and phase 3 studies started in the US. And the stock price also jumped up shortly before that. On August 20th, the preliminary data from phase 1 and phase 2 studies were released. And then on November 9th, preliminary data from phase 3 study were released. And on November 11th, they signed a vaccine supply agreement with the European Union. By that time, the stock price already went up quite a bit. And then on December 2nd, they secured the approval from United Kingdom. They also got approval from the US on December 11th and EU approval on December 21st. And after that, pretty much it was just selling on the news on the part of the investors. And that's why we've been seeing the stock price going down in the last 3 weeks or so. Overall, the stock price has certainly gone up a lot in the last 12 months. In fact, it has more than tripled. Unfortunately, it's been dropping since December 10th. Let's take a closer look at what's been happening in the last month. This is the hourly chart from December 9th to December 31st. I see a downward channel, which is a very bearish sign. Many investors have been selling or shorting the stock based on the sell on the news mentality after the COVID vaccine was approved by the UK, EU, and the US. Typically, with a pattern like this, the price will continue to go downward until some external forces reverse the direction of the price and push the price up. Let's zoom into the last 24 hours of the chart to see what's been going on. We can see the candlesticks have been bounded by the Bollinger Band, and actually for the last 12 hours or so, the price has been below the 20-period moving average, which is another bearish pattern. There were a few very strong bearish candlestick signals, including a zigzag step here, and then an engulfing signal, and then 3 outsides down, bearish kicking, and bearish Marubozu. In the last 2 trading hours in the chart, there were a couple of weak bullish candlestick signals. There were the Williams fractal here and a hammer here. However, neither of them generated any significant upward momentum. That tells you how bearish the situation is. The last trading hour here is a green candle, which happened at 7 p.m. during New Year's Eve. We know one candlestick does not a trend make. We will have to see more bullish signals before this boat can be turned around. In the meanwhile, The RSI indicator has been hugging the 30% line and not able to get much above that. The MACD indicator has also been bearish in the last couple of days. For swing trading, I would definitely not buy any more BioNTech at this point. The technical indicators are just too bearish for now. Let's look at the short-term support and resistance levels. I see support at 80, 76, and 71, and I see resistance at 86 and 91. If the price can break above 86 in the next few days, it will be a good indication that the price is starting to break out of the downward sloping channel, and that will be the time when I will go into long position or buy more BioNTech stock. As I mentioned before, I have BioNTech in my portfolio. I'm holding BioNTech for the long term for at least 3 months to a year. I will now tell you the reasons why. BioNTech today is very similar to Amgen back in 1998 and Regeneron back in 2011. Amgen and Regeneron were new startup pharmaceutical companies with their respective groundbreaking technologies, just like BioNTech is today with the messenger RNA technology. Another company today that is very similar to BioNTech is Moderna. I decided to compare the 4 companies based on the few months around the time when each of their first blockbuster drug was approved by the FDA. And this is the chart I got. To compare apples to apples, I normalized the price of each company at 3 days before FDA approval and set it at 100%. This chart shows that Regeneron and Amgen were flat within 30 days after approval. After that, they started to go up quickly. Moderna and BioNTech are here on the chart. I therefore expect Moderna and BioNTech to pick up around February or March of 2021. Before we move on, if you like what you see in my video, please click the like, subscribe, and notification button so that you will be notified when I post any future updates on BioNTech. Now, if you say the price of BioNTech will recover soon, aside from the pretty chart that we just saw, is there anything else to back up that argument? The answer is absolutely. Let's look at the fundamentals of the company. At this point, the company is worth $19.6 billion, and it's been generating negative earnings ever since the founding of the company. The good news is that the debt-to-equity ratio is only 10.2%, which is a positive sign. According to the arrangement with Pfizer, they will split the COVID vaccine revenues and earnings 50-50 between the two companies. So far, they've signed contract for 816 million doses of vaccines to be produced by the end of 2021. And based on the price of $20 per dose, they should be able to generate $8 billion of revenues in 2021. Let's look at what the professional analysts have been saying about our company. Yahoo gave them a rating of 2.4, which is a moderate buy, and the Yahoo target price is 116.6, and the current market price as of closing last Friday was 81.52, which is less than the Yahoo target price. Louis Navellier gave them an overall rating of B, which is a favorable rating. Tip Ranks rated them as a moderate buy, and the average target is $119.60. The maximum target price is $130, and minimum target price is $97. And then Wall Street Journal Market gave them an overweight rating, which is a moderate buy, and the average target price is 117.9 with a maximum at 136.3 and a minimum at 93.7. All these target prices are above the current price of 81.52. When I follow a stock, I usually like to do my own valuation. I look at 9 pharmaceutical companies and their forward PE ratios. I took the average PE ratio of 12.4 from these 9 companies, and then I apply a net margin of 33%, which is a net margin of Regeneron. I assume that BioNTech will have the same net margin. I then look at how many doses of vaccine they've sold so far, which is 816 million doses. Because they are still signing new contracts with different countries, I expect them to be able to sell at least 1.1 billion doses for 2021, and then you extrapolate that number into 2022 and 2023 based on the increase in world population and based on 2 doses per person. I arrive at the stock price for the company. And then to be conservative, I actually discount it by 20%, and I get the stock price of $149 for 2021, $113 for 2022, and $76 for 2023, based on the assumption that the company will lower the price of the vaccine from the current $20 a dose to $15 for 2022 and $10 for 2023 due to competitive pressure. And with that, I arrive at the target price of $110 to $130 a share. After 2023, the COVID vaccine profit might taper off, but other products from the company's pipeline will start to generate revenues. This is the pipeline information I got from the company website. They have at least 21 products in various stages of development. They have one product in phase 3, which is the COVID vaccine, and they have one product in phase 2, which typically will take 2 to 6 years before FDA approval. And then they have 7 products in phase 1, which typically will take 3 to 7 years for FDA approval. The COVID vaccine has validated the messenger RNA technology used by the company, and the technology will allow them to develop drugs and vaccines much, much faster than traditional methods and with much better effectiveness. I believe BioNTech has a pretty solid future. It is nice for the company to have good fundamentals, but when is the stock price actually going to turn around and start heading up again? I see a few catalysts that will cause the stock price to go up again. First of all, we need to have confirmation of the effectiveness of the vaccine against the new strain of virus found in the UK, which is spreading very quickly around the world. And a couple of the signs that we can see will be the reduction of daily new COVID cases in Israel and UK, because these two countries started to administer the vaccine earlier than most other countries. And also we have to make sure that there's no significant allergic reactions to the vaccine, and particularly no fatality related to the vaccine. And as they sign more sales contracts, the stock price will react favorably. The company is developing a freeze-dried version of the vaccine which does not require the negative 70 degrees Celsius for storage. If this freeze-dried version is successful, it'll be very positive for the stock price. Another item which will be unfortunate for mankind but really actually good for BioNTech is that if there will be more mutation of the COVID-19 virus, which requires a new vaccine to be developed, actually BioNTech will be very well positioned to be very competitive because of the fast turnaround nature of the messenger RNA technology. Then of course they have the quarterly earnings announcement scheduled for March 30th, 2021, which will be a major milestone for the company. In fact, the stock price will actually be picking up probably a couple of weeks before the announcement date. Let's look quickly at the recent new COVID cases in Israel. According to this chart, it's not showing any decrease yet. They started to administer the vaccine on December 19, and they cover already 10.9% of the total population in Israel. The vaccine takes at least 14 days to take effect. We're therefore not seeing the reduction in new COVID cases yet. As for the United Kingdom, they only cover so far 1.4% of the total population of the country. The chart is certainly not showing any progress yet. I will be looking at these charts every day for Israel, the UK, the US, and other countries to check for progress. Finally, to round up my research, I looked at patents and lawsuits related to BioNTech. I found that they hold at least 14 patents related to the COVID vaccine. They've licensed patents registered by messenger RNA pioneers Katalin Kariko and Drew Weissman. Moderna also licensed the patents from the same two individuals. In the meanwhile, I found that Pfizer-BioNTech and Regeneron have been sued by a company by the name of Allele Biotechnology on patents related to COVID products. Moderna is also involved in lawsuits with another company regarding the COVID vaccine. In other words, there will be many patent lawsuits on the COVID vaccines in the next few years. At this point, I don't think the company is under any more risks than any other pharmaceutical companies. I'm not worried about patents and lawsuits. This wraps up my video for now. Thank you for watching all the way to here. When I see any significant changes happening in the next few days, I will post a new video. Before I post the next video, I will post update notes below this video like this. And if you like this video, please make sure to click the like, subscribe, and notification buttons so that you'll be notified when I post any future updates on BioNTech. I'd like to mention that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm sharing my analysis and my trade strategy for educational purpose only. You should make your own decisions regarding buying or selling stocks and should check with your financial advisors. If you have a few more seconds, hang in there. I'd like to share with you some reference information. In the meanwhile, I'd like to wish you the best of luck with your financial investments. If you wonder when the market is going to crash again, check out a video on this topic in my playlist. The following is a list of the analytical tools I use and the information I look at every day to develop my investment strategies. After doing hours of research, I summarize my findings into a few minutes of video for you. Links are provided below this video for you to learn more about RSI, Bollinger Bands, the role of the Federal Reserve Bank, etc.